I hit go live.
Oh, good.
We'll be right back as soon as I find. Oh, there it is. Oh shit!
Hey,
I started.
You were mid bite, weren't you? You didn't plan that well.
No, it's a piece of pretzel.
It's still there.
Mm-hmm. You go.
That's good.
You go.
That's good. Yeah, yeah. So, hey everybody, thanks for finding the geek spot. Frank's gonna finish choking and join us shortly.
We're a mess today.
Yeah. So, that's that's a bright light, huh? Oh, which way can I turn? There we go. That's better. That's better. So yeah. So I hope everybody had a great weekend. Has some exciting plans coming up for 4th of July. So we may miss next week being 4th of July, but we'll see what happens.
100%
Frank will probably be in a pool.
100%
is my guess. I
100%.
will not be in a pool, but that's okay.
You can be.
I could be, but I'm all right.
There's a gazebo. You can come over and play in it.
It's fancy.
Yeah. Listen, before we start, I just want to let everyone know, please don't put any umbrella things. What the hell is it called? The
Umbrella Academy?
Jesus. I'm really having a rough one right now. Please don't put any Umbrella Academy spoilers in the chat at all. I have not seen it yet. I'm holding off until this week. I have a very rough week coming up work-wise, and I want to try and cram it all in between the pool and the dehydration, which we'll get to that in a second. But
I finished it Saturday, Frank.
I know. Just a heads up, though. I haven't seen it, so please don't spoil that.
I'm kidding. I finished it Sunday.
But welcome to all our thousands of new listeners. Going for optimism.
Yeah, hey, tell all your friends that there's a whole bunch of podcasts for them to listen to while they're driving this holiday weekend. There's weeks worth of episodes that they can go. Feel free to download.
3 whole weeks. Woohoo!
But super exciting stuff for everybody. Again, we'll put it in here a few more times.
Yes, we're also going to start throwing in the time stamps of the spoilers instead of us being rude to our podcast listeners and just saying, hey, spoiler now, and then the people that are actually watching know when to come back. I'm going to actually start adding that on the YouTube page and everywhere else so that there'll be a timestamp of, hey, thanks. Wow, that popped up 3 times. That's awesome. So, yes. So how was your weekend? You had a busy weekend?
I did. It's every day is busy. It feels like at this point. Yeah. So Friday I got to go play at a carnival.
I saw that. How was that?
Pretty cool. It was fun, man. It was a full band with the horn section.
Okay.
So we played all sorts of stuff. I got to sing all sorts of stuff that I don't usually sing. Little Big Bad Voodoo Daddies and some Dexy's Midnight Runners
I'm
and
a big
some
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy fan. I like them.
Some Real Big Fish and all. I got to sing all sorts of stuff that I don't usually get to sing. So that was super fun.
Sellout?
We did do Sellout. I didn't sing Sellout, but we did do it. We will be doing all that again at Shady Brook Farms on October 9th for Fall Fest.
Ooh.
From 5 to 9. So make your plans now. Visit that little website right there, and it'll tell you when that is. So yeah, I did that. I watched some stuff. I watched some Umbrella Academy. That was good. Spoiler free. It is. I enjoyed it a lot more than season 2.
Okay.
I thought it moved. It didn't cover as much in each episode as The Boys, which is a staggering amount that they're getting through in every episode this year. However, I thought there was some really great character development. There was some really cool story arcs. I'm really excited to see where it goes next.
So I've heard 3 things that aren't spoilery about this show.
Yeah.
One, that a friend of mine on Facebook is constantly complaining that Allison is annoying as hell.
Yeah.
Okay. 2, I read briefly, and again, I didn't read into it, that they handled the Elliot Page transformation,
Transition.
incredible transition. Thank you. Incredibly well. They said it was incredibly well done. Right.
It was seamless. It was fantastic. And totally made sense to the story.
Yep. And the third thing I heard was that season 4 will possibly be the last season.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Okay.
I think there's only so many times that you can fold in on yourselves.
Right. So other than, I don't know anything past that.
I will say, and this is only spoilery, if you leave your closed captioning on no matter what you watch. But there is, as always, there's a great soundtrack to the show, some really cool versions of tunes. It's actually where I found the interrupters that covered Billie Eilish's Bad Guy last year.
Okay.
In the last season. I love that version now.
Right.
But Jeremy Renner does a House of the Rising Sun cover.
Like Hawkeye Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
He has 2 EPs out. And remember that commercial where he was singing for Geek?
That's right.
So that's actually a pretty cool version.
Oh, nice.
And there was a lot of other great music in this season. But it's really well done. I'm excited for you to watch it so we can discuss it a little bit more.
I should be able to get to it this week. This is a rough week for me, work-wise. But I took off Tuesday.
No, really? It's crazy. I also need you or some people that join the show to start watching The Flash. There's one episode left this season, and it may have gone the most ridiculous it's ever gone in the run of the show. On this last episode, and even the showrunner, there's some interviews that I saw with him where he said somehow we're going to wrap it all up, and it works. And I don't know how it happened, but it did. Oof. And it's the biggest episode they've ever done of The Flash, including all the crisis stuff. Cast of thousands.
Cast of thousands. Okay.
It feels like it.
So the East Dillon Lions beat the West Dillon Panthers in the rivalry game at the end of, so I can just jump into that.
Yes, you can just watch the newest episode and you will be so lost. And it is batshit crazy.
I
where
will,
they've gone this season.
I will try my hardest. All jokes aside, my weekend was Saturday was pooling, and then Sunday I went back to do some pooling, and I didn't drink, right? I think I had one Sea Isle ice tea thingy. And I floated in the pool for like 2.5, 3 hours, and I didn't drink any water.
Oh, good.
Which was a dumb thing.
You were in the water. It's fine.
Right. So when I got home last night and I had prepared to watch some shows, I was so dehydrated that I was asleep by 7:30, and I did not wake up till 7 o'clock this morning.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. So next weekend I have a 4th of July party on July 3rd at Jimmy's. And then I have the pool party on the Monday. So in between then.
You have a lot of Umbrella Academy to watch in between.
I will do that one first.
And a lot of Flash. And some Lois and Superman and Lois.
I know.
Wrapping up there too.
There's only a handful of those, right? There's like 3 or 4 of those to catch up.
Yeah, but it's
easy.
I think there's one left this season. And the Flash both wrap up this week. So I will say with the Flash, they continue to use Iris as a fridged character, where they continue to make you worried that they're going to kill off Iris, even though they still have kids in the future.
Right.
It reminds me of other shows where there's no real stakes.
You mean the one that we're gonna talk about at the end here today?
Knowing what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
Dylan got to go to some cool stuff in AC, it looks like.
I see that. He went to Classic Rewind weekend in Atlantic City, which was dead.
I mean,
sucks.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And AC's not as much of a destination as it used to be.
No.
I don't know, from a travel standpoint, I don't know how many affordable places there are in AC that are places you'd want to stay.
That's actually kind of cool.
I've seen a couple things about him recently that seems like he's a pretty cool guy that's still leaning into the fact that he's, famous from the show.
So what Dylan said is he talked to RJ, is it Mitt? Is that how you say it?
Sure.
Mitt? Basically, he talked to Walter Jr. from Breaking Bad at his table for about 45 minutes, and he was one of the nicest people ever.
That's another project for you, Frank. Better Call Saul comes back 7/11.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, it's so
not
good.
Right now.
So good.
Yeah, not right this second.
That's back, and so's something else that's only got 2 episodes left. I think Stranger Things is back then too.
Yeah.
You only have 4 seasons of that to catch up on.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, why would you enjoy a fantasy show about kids that play D&D? It has nothing to do with anything that you like in the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, it's one that I should look. Let's see what happens after this weekend, and I'll go from there.
Okay.
I have the Umbrella Academy as the top.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois, and then I'll try and work through. I'll hate watch The Flash just like you do.
Yeah, it's such a. I can't imagine binging it though. Binging would be painful.
I could hate binge it without commercials too.
Oh, that is better.
So that might help a little bit.
That is better than forgetting.
It is a lot of excuses, Matt.
Still being stuck.
That's my friend. That's my friend Matt that I play video games with. That was in a really messed up truck accident. He's one of our trucker friends, and he was in the back sleeping, and his friend was driving, and an F1 tornado hit them.
Oh my God!
In Kansas, and flipped the truck on its side and into a ditch. So Matt's able to watch it live because he's actually off work for at least a week.
That's fair.
Yeah. Nobody's dead and no serious injuries. He hurt his back and he whines about it a little bit when we're playing Xbox, but other than that, he's okay.
Well, Matt, I hope you feel better. All right. So what do you got?
I'm going to read this verbatim because I know the chat would explode, and if Dom were watching, Dom's head would explode while I read this. Okay. Top Gun Maverick crossed the $1 billion box office mark this weekend. Okay.
All right.
Becoming only the second movie to do this since Endgame in 2019.
Oh, dear God.
So that's wrong because No Way Home crossed 1.9 billion last year.
Yeah. So what in between? What else? What's your third then?
There was a third one, right?
What would push Top Gun to third then?
Was it a Star Wars movie?
I don't think Black Widow made $1 billion. I don't think Eternals made $1 billion.
No, but it said that it was the second movie since 2019 to cross $1 billion, right? So Endgame did in 2019.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker did after that.
Was that
so did Far From Home.
Since 2019. Okay, so that article is 1,000% the most wrong.
Far From Home was right. It was after Endgame.
Far From Home did a lot of money too.
Rise of Skywalker was after Endgame.
Somehow made money off of the name Star Wars.
Because it was not worth that much. Birds of Prey. Oh,
no.
Suicide Squad. No. The Flash movie. Oh. I feel like we'll get there.
Top Gun made $521.7 million domestic and $484.7 million internationally.
That's a lot of Navy ads internationally.
Yeah, it is.
A big boost for the Navy in the global marketplace there.
It definitely was. I
have not seen it yet. It's still on my list.
Oh, dude.
It's
such a good movie.
Yeah.
Let's go see it Tuesday.
Maybe.
I'm off.
Some of us work.
Take a day off. You got PTO. You'll be all right. So this is an interesting thing. Indiana Jones is coming out eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. There's all these hints that this is going to be Harrison Ford's last movie. Pause for sad groan. There you go. I actually wrote pause for sad groan.
It's good. Well, I mean, he probably has another movie about that damn dog.
Well, he's 79, so I think he's supposedly hanging it up, or at least maybe he's going to hang up action movies.
He'll just make movies about dogs.
Tied into that, longtime composer John Williams, who is 90, also hinted that this might be his last movie score.
Well, dear God. I mean, that's fine.
You know,
the dude's written our lives.
He really has. I'm okay with that.
He can take a rest.
I am. And as we were talking about I was talking about that. I went down a Google rabbit hole.
Oh no.
It's a small Google rabbit hole. I have a list of the highest grossing actors of all time.
Okay.
They're separated into different categories. And I'm only going to look at the first 3 categories.
Okay.
There's lead roles, all roles, which includes cameos and voice acting, or live action roles. I'm not so worried about live action. Do you know who the highest grossing all roles, including cameos and voice acting, the highest grossing actor is of all time?
Highest grossing of all time? Is this what
total.
they made or what their movies made?
I believe this is what they've made as a whole.
Robert Downey Jr.
No, he's fifth.
Wow.
He's fifth with $15 billion, 67 films. He averages $234 million a film.
So that is...
You're never going to guess number one.
How many films did you say for him?
67 films.
I feel like this is all in then. I don't think this is his cut. This is how much his movies made.
Right. Well, well,
no.
Not
that he made from
then
his
maybe.
Movies. Because,
so I'll give you three guesses for
Robert
number
Downey
one.
Jr. is not worth $15 billion.
No, Dwayne Johnson is actually the 15th with 50 movies under his belt at $12 billion. Vin Diesel is not in the top 20.
Wow, that's surprising with all the Fast movies.
It is. However, nope, never mind.
I'm thinking
Herogasm is not. Vin Diesel is actually the 10th leading role, just leading roles, including voice acting.
We will.
Vin Diesel is 10th.
We'll get there, Jack. Don't worry. Oh, the good old Peter North. Well,
yes, we will.
There's a lot of Peter North moments.
So I'll give you three guesses on the top, and you're never going to get it.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is not on the top 20 list of all roles.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper is also not on the list of all roles.
And Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford isn't on this list, but that's what I started looking at for. I think he's like 8th in North American, so I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Who were like the top 5 then? What do we got?
Stan Lee is number 1 at $30 billion with 49 credits. Okay.
That's fair.
Samuel L. Jackson is the second with 138 films and $27 billion.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3 is Frank Welker from the Transformers. 112 films, $17 billion.
With all his voiceover. That's Optimus, right?
That's Optimus Prime. The number 4, how about Cliff Clavin from Cheers?
All the Pixar movies.
John Ratzenberger, $16 billion and 52 films. And number 5 is Robert Downey Jr.
No
as we
kidding.
said. I'll stop at 10 just because it's fun. There's a lot of Marvel actors in there.
I bet you Ratzenberger has like dollars to show for all of that.
Probably. Number 6 is Robert Bergen. He's another voice actor.
Okay.
He voices Warner Brothers cartoon characters, Porky Pig, Tweety Bird. He's a $15 billion. Minions is his top grossing film. He has 60 films. And then it's still in the 15 billion is Scarlett Johansson with 50 films. Her highest grossing is Endgame. Andy Serkis at 15 billion with 35 films. Alan Tudyk. $15 billion. Frozen 2 is his highest grossing film.
Meanwhile, the guy can still barely get a gig. Who's he in the Frozen movies?
He's in Frozen 2, actually.
Right.
And rounding out the top 10 is Little Warwick Davis at $14 billion, 24 films. His highest film gross
Willow.
is The Force Awakens.
Oh, it's not Willow.
No.
Okay.
No. So... and the rest of the list basically reads like a Marvel movie.
I'm sure.
It's all Marvel people.
Yeah.
And their highest grossing film is mostly Endgame. Dwayne Johnson's actually is Furious 7. Lucky for us.
Oh, yeah. Which is why it's surprising Diesel's not on there with the Marvel movies.
Now they break it down into other categories, and I didn't feel like going through all the different.
Yeah, but you would think with the voice of Groot.
You would think
he's made a couple bucks between Infinity War and Endgame.
Furious 7 was his highest grossing one, according to that list.
That's not possible.
Wikipedia is never wrong. Buddy.
Oh, for The Rock. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It definitely.
Oh, not Vin Diesel. No, Vin Diesel's not in the top 20 though.
Yeah.
Because you figure overall, I don't think the Riddick movies really put him up there.
No, but
Sean Connery is not in that list. He's way too old.
Oh,
I'll give you Vin Diesel's best role being Iron Giant.
So,
let me see here. Did we mention the Jon Snow spinoff and why that has to be a thing?
We did. We talked about some Jon Snow.
Okay. Apparently that's been in development for years. Good. I'm happily skipping that.
Great. Let it continue to be in development hell.
Yeah. The Santa Claus show released its first image.
Yeah, I saw the picture. I didn't realize Cal Penn had moved to the North Pole.
Cal Penn moved to the North Pole. His son Charlie moved away, I guess. He's not in it.
Well,
that's not Charlie.
But Charlie wasn't really in the third one that much either.
I didn't see the third one. I will have to catch up.
It's with Martin Short.
Yeah, I heard it was really good.
The third one's fine.
But also not making his return is
David Krumholtz.
That one elf that was always there with him.
Yeah, the guy from
Bernard.
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 Not David
big Amber Heard supporter. Big Amber Heard supporter.
Is he?
Oh yeah, he is.
Well, also not in the third movie.
No,
because I think he was starring in Numbers by the time the third movie came out.
Okay.
Which was a fantastic show. If anybody
definitely doesn't look like his.
I don't know where it streams now, but he was great on that show.
He definitely doesn't look like Bernard that you remember him as.
No, well, he hasn't in 20 years.
No,
because that was the last time he played that version of Bernard.
Mm-hmm. In the small bit of DC stuff that I have, Susan Sarandon, who I wasn't aware was in the Blue Beetle movie.
Oh, okay.
Has confirmed that the movie wrapped just after a month of after kicking off production.
That seems really fast. She wrapped or the movie wrapped?
The movie wrapped. It's coming out August 18th, 2023.
But this is a theatrical release, right?
She's playing Victoria Cord.
Oh.
You sound so happy.
Well, I feel like that means Ted Kord's not going to be in it.
It will actually be no Ted Kord on this IMDb list.
So that makes me feel like they gender swapped the Blue Beetle before Jaime Reyes.
Uncle Rudy Reyes is in it.
For Susan Sarandon, who will be the inspiration that passes on the Blue Beetle scarab that then becomes an alien creature in Jaime.
Gotcha.
I feel like that's where we're going to go, and I'm not loving it because Ted Kord's Blue Beetle is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time.
Well, maybe Zolo can make it good.
He was like if you took Moon Knight and Batman and combined them in his original run,
right?
That's who he was.
Okay.
He was like a tech billionaire that also had some ties to Egyptian mythology.
I only know the Blue Beetle from Smallville.
Yeah, that's the Jaime Reyes one.
So this is we had mentioned this in episodes past that the kid from Karate Kid, Miguel, is playing Jamie Reyes.
Jaime.
It says Jamie.
No, it doesn't. It says Jaime.
It says Jaime.
Yeah, it's pronounced Jaime.
Oh. George Lopez is in it as Uncle Rudy Reyes.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. But Ted Kord, the original Blue Beetle, is who Zach Braff was supposed to be in Legends of Tomorrow next season.
Gotcha. Did I delete this page that I needed to have up? Of course I did.
It's doing great.
Yeah. Let me find that real fast while you talk for something.
It's great. So I don't know if we have. Do we have an Ezra Watch 2022?
No, nothing this week. Found it.
So there's guns and bullets and weed at his compound in Vermont.
Ezra.
Where the latest news for Ezra Miller is that he has, during his time in Hawaii, he spirited away a mother and her 3 young children to Vermont, where he's now keeping them, and the father is trying to get them back. It sounds like the father, not a great person, so not like a true victim here.
Oof.
However,
that's a good one to highlight.
It seems like a spoiler there, Dylan. Fastest man alive might take your child. Sounds like he's more the reverse Flash than Flash.
Oof.
So it's not like so the article says weed, and then there's talk about a couple of plants, but he also has basically an entire pot farm at this facility that has guns laying around with bullets. And the 1-year-old kid that was there had a live round in their mouth.
Oh, that's nice.
So it makes you wonder who's been watching Ezra all these years.
They're good chew toys, I hear.
Like who let him get to this point? Because he didn't just like turn a page and end up here.
Ezra has no handler. That's
probably been this way since he started in the first Fantastic Beasts, or at least when he was guesting in BVS, right?
Oh, so my goodness.
We'll keep watching how they are doing, and where that all goes.
Yeah,
because we did see rumors that Flash would then come out on HBO.
Yes, that was the text I sent you that I forgot to actually throw down here, which is good. Is that I read a report that HBO Max is considering, or DC is considering, somebody's considering putting the Flash right on HBO Max, which would negate the need for a press tour, and you wouldn't have to worry about poor box office receipts because nobody wants to go see a movie with this.
I don't think the box office would be impacted as much as we think it would be.
It's yeah.
However, I think your press for it is a nightmare.
Oh God!
But you lose the chance then to get Keaton to go run around and talk this up.
You can get
Affleck.
You can get Keaton to run around and talk about Supergirl at some point.
Batgirl, you mean?
Batgirl, Batwoman.
But you lose the chance to have Affleck go out and promote.
Yep.
Like you lose a lot of big stars you could have had promoted. You lose the chance for that girl playing Supergirl in the Flash movie to do the rounds and become a star.
Yep.
Because how do you do press and not have your star anywhere to be seen? How do you put him on a red? How do you put him on a red carpet at this point?
You can't.
Like how do you have a premiere?
You can have a premiere. You just don't have you shift the focus of the movie to the other characters, even though Flash is the character of the movie. I don't know.
I think our
that's a rough one.
Mark Bernardin from Fat Man Beyond and various other outlets, has said a few times now that, look, it's going to cost him 60, 75 million to reshoot around him in the movie. Probably
may as well just do it.
But just do it, and then you set yourself up for future movies instead of
a one and done type.
Because if the movie's cut, you know exactly what scenes you want to put somebody new in. Or do you wait and just reboot it after this movie comes out?
Oh, sorry. Hi, doggy.
It's toss up.
There we go. Speaking of Batman. Nope, that didn't work. So while Christian Bale was doing his press junket for Thor, he was obviously asked if he would ever come back into the Batman role.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
And his quote was, no one's mentioned it to me. No one's brought it up. Occasionally people say to me, oh, I hear you were approached and offered this. And I'm like, that's news to me. No one's ever said that. He said he had a pact with Christopher Nolan. They both said, let's make 3 films. If we're lucky enough to get to do that, and then let's walk away. Let's not linger too long. In my mind, it would be something if Chris Nolan ever said to himself, you know what? I've got another story to tell. And if he wished to tell that story with me, I'd be in it. So it sounds like he would only come back if Christopher Nolan said, let's do another movie. I got an idea.
Yeah, which that's not going to happen.
No,
that's
I don't see Christopher Nolan making that.
We've had 17 Batman since him. It's fine.
Yeah, and more on the way. Right? Maybe.
I'm sure there will be more on the way.
Jensen Ackles, maybe.
On the TV.
On the TV show.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, and then I think we get another one soon, and we'll see.
Well, there's the video game.
We'll see when the new Joker picks up.
Oh, goody. Marvel stuff. Moving hot and fast right now. Marvel will attend San Diego Comic-Con for the first time in 3 years, live and in person, doing a Hall H panel somewhere between July 21st and July 24th. I didn't realize it was literally right around the corner. I forgot.
That's a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Given in their past the way they've set their panels up, it looks like most likely it'll be on July 23rd. And I would assume that this year you're going to get a lot of big, you'll get your first Black Panther look, maybe something for Ant-Man. Black Panther's only 4 months out at that point.
I'm wondering if they do what they did a few years ago, where they did movies at Hall H, and they did all the TV announcements at D23.
They have D23. They have a panel coming up between September 9th and 11th, so that also is possible.
Because you'll be done Miss Marvel, because Miss Marvel only has 3 episodes left.
Right.
You'll be in the middle of She-Hulk, or just done She-Hulk when D23 happens.
I have not got my Thor tickets yet.
Oh, I already got mine.
I did not.
It's not a surprise.
Did I put this in
all right. With the Jamie Bauer Campbell playing Carnage. Look, I enjoyed Woody's view of a take on Carnage.
I have to find this other thing real
fast
again.
So we have that. As far as we don't need to get spoilery in it, because it is at a little different demographic group than this crew for Miss Marvel this week. Continues to just be a wonderful show.
It's the lowest watched show of any Marvel TV show that's come out, and I don't get it.
I think let's see what happens now that Obi-Wan's over. But it's the first one that's not a character from when we were kids. Right? So right. Even though Hawkeye introduced Kate Bishop, who's a fairly recent character in the comics.
Right.
And Moon Knight's spin was on a new take of Moon Knight that's fairly new. And what was one of the other there was another show that had a younger version.
I thought it was a great episode. There was a lot. I mean, I have stuff on it, but we don't have to go into the spoilery part of it right now.
Yeah, they're really moving the story along. The powers continue to be cool. The girl who's playing her is a delight. And I think it's because there's no expectations, but that also hurts your base draw where you don't get, and because they advertised it as a kids show.
Right. You're not getting the adults into it,
but which it's not. Really?
They are possibly tying a lot of stuff that's already out there into the show. And again, I guess spoilery, maybe a little spoilery, is there was a scene where the camera pans up on people standing in a room, and on the ground, there were 10 rings with symbols in the middle of them. So it could be tying back to Shang-Chi in a way.
I think we tie all of. I have a feeling, based on what Kevin Feige said recently, that everything we've had in Phase 4 actually ties to the Eternals.
It wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's going to be the 10 rings are like a creation of the Eternals. This bracelet,
yep,
is going to be tied back to them, whether it be from this plane or one of the other planets that the Eternals have been to. I think that's where we start to see all of this stuff tied into. Or because I don't know if we go the incursion route, which would be setting up Secret Wars, but
that's what they're leading to. The whole next phase is supposed to be Secret Wars. So
I have to read the new Secret Wars still.
Before I bring up my two Doctor Strange points, Matt Lintz, he's the kid that plays Bruno in Miss Marvel. He was actually one of near the top of the list to become Spider-Man before Tom Holland got it. So
that's exciting.
I mean, that's a pretty cool thing for him to get cast in this show. And he's been great in the show too.
Yeah, look, that's normal for studios though. They look at you for one and are like, and then they take it for the next.
I can see him as Peter Parker. I could see him be.
Wasn't Jensen Ackles looked at to be Clark?
Yeah, he was,
and then ended up as the coach in season 3 or 4.
Yep. I have some sad news. It's possible sad news related to Doctor Strange. This touches me. It makes me sad. I do not believe that John Krasinski is going to be Reed Richards in the Prime MCU timeline at all now. Well, based on this quote on the audio commentary of Doctor Strange, which audio commentary is starting to leak out now, I have two things for that.
It's already on Disney Plus.
Yeah. What Sam Raimi has said was, it's funny, Kevin Feige cast John because the fans had a dream of who the perfect Reed Richards would be. And because this is an alternate universe, I think Kevin said, let's make that dream come true. I've always really enjoyed all of his performances. Now, he's not exactly saying that he's not going to be, but he kind of framed it as in, it's an alternate universe. Let's do whatever the hell we want in here. So you still can cast him down the line, but I don't know if you're going to get him.
We'll see what happens with the Fantastic Four movie and when they get there at this point.
Yes. As for the other thing, yes. So, the audio commentary also, no, we're not there yet. Almost. The audio commentary also revealed a Doctor Doom connection. So, producer Richie Palmer said the detail of the teleportation device he uses to get into the scene is something they took from the comics. That's Doctor Doom's time platform. So but
look, all I want in a Doctor Strange movie is the movie they promised me at the end of the first one with Baron Mordo going after all the people with powers like Benjamin Bratt. Right. And all the other magicians and sorcerers and taking their powers. That's the movie I want to see. Do a thriller about that.
Right.
And let those two just go in and act their asses off. That's what I want to see.
They did just cast, as Dylan had said.
I think we talked about it last week, didn't we?
Yeah, I forget the guy's name because I can't find it now.
Yeah, random dude.
Yes. I have a quick run through of the Marvel stuff that's coming out as we're getting closer to some Marvel stuff.
Okay.
We got Thor next week, July 8th. Well, 2 weeks. Right? So we got Thor July 8th.
It's a week from Thursday.
I said a week. Yeah, okay. She-Hulk August 17th.
Yep.
I'm iffy on that.
That'll be good. Tatiana Maslany is phenomenal. Yeah. If she could carry any show.
There's the Untitled Halloween special in October.
Oh. Oh, is this going to be the Werewolf by Night, possibly?
This is the Werewolf by Night, yeah. Black Panther in November.
I wonder if we get a snippet of Blade.
It'd be nice, right?
In a Halloween show.
Before he's too old.
Yeah, what's in November? Oh, Black Panther. Yeah,
November's Black Panther. December is the Guardians holiday special.
Yep.
Which is looking to be pretty good, apparently.
Who knows?
What if season 2 is still coming before the end of the year?
No.
No, it is.
I don't want it.
But no, it says it right here.
I don't need it.
It says it.
Nope. Good.
And then we can go into next year's stuff. We'll do that another time. Ant-Man and the Wasp is the next thing up. Rudy Pankow that's it. He plays JJ in Outer Banks.
Yep, that's right.
Before I go, okay, so we have a choice here. Do we go boys or do we go Obi-Wan? Which way do you want to go first?
Oh, we go boys. We go boys first. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull up my boys stuff here.
So I made.
That was weird.
To finally,
there's no easy way to say that.
Say what?
I said, let me pull up my boys stuff. There's no easy way to say that.
No.
Every time.
Now that we have to put a warning on the show,
right?
God
damn it!
Hold on.
Where are we at? 38:40 is where we're going to start talking about the boys. That's the timestamp. Let me write this shit down. Actually, it's not 38:40 now.
So anyway,
38:30.
So there you go. So I did take it upon myself to finally dive into the boys comic series.
Okay.
This weekend, because I was like, all right, I hear everybody's been talking about this Herogasm. Let's see what the big deal is. So different. That's what I've heard.
From the
comics to the show. A Dickisode. That's good, Chris.
Yes. Dickisode.
So let's talk about Herogasm and the boys this week.
So this was said to be the most graphic episode of television ever. And here's my thoughts on it. Very light on the hyped up orgy part of things, but very good on story and content overall. It was a fabulous episode.
Yeah, this was as good as most like 7th episodes of a 8-episode season.
Yep.
So the fact that there's still 2 episodes left is crazy.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the orgy part was okay, but like the stuff that happened during it and the amount that they moved the story forward this week was unreal.
And the ice penis was what?
Well, I mean, look, we got hints of that before in the
Yes.
confessional in the super confessional group back before. So, but let's talk about how we started off with the Deep doing his YouTube video that then he sang Imagine.
That was 1,000,000% a riff on Gal Gadot's Imagine during the pandemic.
And the stars they got. I mean, you get Kamal now Kamal is in the MCU, Star Wars, and the Boys universe. Patton Oswalt, who was also in every comic bookdom ever.
Yeah. I didn't even grab Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were in it.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in it? There was so you have A-Train and Black Noir. Black Noir was fucking hilarious because he's just holding
They did the Love Actually thing, yeah.
A-Train and Black Noir, Patton Oswalt, who you said, who previously voiced the Deep's Gills in season 2.
Oh, that's right, he did.
Okay. Josh Gad was in it.
Josh Gad's in anything anybody asks him to. You throw him $5. He'll come on here. We throw him $5.
I would love that. Elizabeth Banks was in it.
Yep.
Aisha Tyler and Rose Byrne.
There you go.
Phenomenal. It was hilarious.
How many of them were in the original video, I wonder, or the Gal Gadot? I'll have to look that
up. The 2022, actually, here it is.
Oh, look
Kristen Wiig, Pedro Pascal, Natalie Portman, Amy Adams, Will Ferrell, Mark Ruffalo, and many others.
All right.
That's actually in the same article, so that's funny.
So we get that. Then we get Black Noir freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Because we find out that Soldier Boy's back and looking to find out what happened. And Homelander asks Black Noir, and then Black Noir goes, "Oh, I gotta go."
Yeah.
And cuts his tracker out and hands it to the girl.
In the elevator.
Just leaves.
Gone. Not seen again the rest of that episode.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we get Ashley really stepping up as CEO, right? Like her character arc has been pretty impressive since season 1.
Yeah, I kind of looked at her as like a joke-off character in the first season, and she's really had one of the better character arcs overall.
Standing up to A-Train about Blue Hawk and which finally is what sets A-Train up to his like, all right, nobody's gonna help me do anything about this. I really have to go do something. So we'll see, and it's we don't know what Black Noir had to do with the other stuff before, so we'll see where we get there.
So the whole point of the episode was they were going to Soldier Boy was going to find TNT to take them out.
Mm-hmm.
He's on their list, and Butcher and Huey are helping him.
Right, because they if he finds out who did what to him, then they get to Homelander.
Right.
And we find out just how awful of a human being Soldier Boy kind of is as he talks to Huey and Butcher.
Crushing up drugs and snorting them.
Yeah, and how into all of this stuff Huey's really kind of diving.
Do you think, and they didn't mention this at all, but do you think Soldier Boy knew who Stormfront was? And that she was a Nazi all that time? Since they would have had to have crossed paths, right? You would figure
they would have had to be in payback together at some point. You think,
right?
So this is where I'm messed up now that I read the comics this week.
Okay.
I forget what the show did. It is so different.
Okay,
like completely different.
So as far as the show goes, you had Starlight and Mother's Milk trying to get to Vermont to get the people out of the house that are supposed to be there before Soldier Boy and them show up, right?
Well, right, they did that, but before that, she and Homelander and Vicky Newman were on TV.
Right.
Right, and then Victoria Newman starts coming at her.
Yeah.
About you got to help me out and this and that.
Right. And
so they go up to try and stop everything, and they end up part of it, right? And I think Jack was asking about this earlier.
So everybody kind of they get there first, and then Huey and Butcher and Soldier Boy get there, and as each of them get there, they both kind of say the same thing about how, oh my God, Frenchie's going to be so mad that he missed this. Right. He's always wanted to come to this. And this is apparently the 70th anniversary of this thing that, as we come to find out, that Soldier Boy actually started 70 years ago.
Which it looks like it's gone downhill since then, because the quality of hero there is definitely declined.
There was a lot of stuff going on in that scene, though, in the backgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, you get Mother's Milk and Love Sausage together again.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go. You get whatever happened when they opened the one door.
What? Oh, and that
was their entire budget. They ran out of of sticky white substances.
They actually wanted that to happen. I was reading articles, and they wanted that to happen to Huey sporadically through the episode. Him kind of opening doors and getting, white-faced, so to speak. But they were short on time. So they kind of blew their load, so to speak, on MM when he opened the door, which makes it even funnier because he's got that OCD, or is it ADD? OCD, right? Okay.
Let's not forget they also shot this in the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, they did.
Which is
and it was
crazy.
5 12-hour days, from what I understand.
Yeah,
that's a lot of.
You got Termite back.
You get Termite back.
Not for long. You get Termite back.
Super long penis guy back.
That's Love Sausage.
That's Love Sausage.
Who totally different character in the comics. That's not what it does.
No.
He's a Russian superhero in the comics. Just retired.
Oh. According to Eric Kripke, the only thing that Amazon hesitated on was the octopus scene.
Which, I didn't think that was that big of a deal. I saw that coming. They set that up 2 years ago.
I guess it leans into bestiality.
Yeah.
And Amazon, prior to The Boys, did not have a standards and practices department at all. Yeah. But because of The Boys, they now actually have a standards and practices department at Amazon.
I think you'd have to, right?
Yeah.
The show.
Yeah. So they pitched it as more of a Farrelly Brothers movie kind of a scene than an actual an actual nasty scene.
And in the middle of this, we all cut back over to Frenchie in a warehouse who's now being forced to choose between Kimiko and what's her name? Who I forget her name.
I forget her name too.
Sherry.
Yes, Sherry.
So it has to choose between them, and Kimiko, just even without powers, takes out both of Nina's guys, and that was a fantastic scene. Yeah. Super graphic, crazy though, but I guess she's learned some stuff besides just having.
One of the things
over the years.
One of the things we missed when Soldier Boy was having his conversation with. When Soldier Boy was having his conversation with Huey, and he was talking about Bill Cosby, and he called him a real man, and then he made strong drinks, and Huey was just staring at him mortified. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, look, he was America's dad. At one point, that was the last time Soldier Boy was around. So we get that, right? We see a bunch of other people kicking around. We see Blue Hawk's at the party, being Blue Hawk.
Blue Hawk was at the party. Cold Snap. There was a live action debut of Cold Snap.
Right, who we had heard talked about.
Yep.
As the boyfriend of the one guy, right?
Uh-huh. Puss Puss was the girl with the tail by the pool.
Oh, got it. And then we get Huey and all of them show up there, right? And we get Huey and A-Train finally.
Yeah, that was kind of a neat little scene where he actually apologized finally for what he did when he killed Huey's girlfriend Robin in the very first scene of The Boys. And he had never actually apologized for it. Yeah, Huey got his closure. And then I guess in a way his revenge a little while later.
And finally Huey's powers seem to be okay with him being naked all the time. But yeah, it was nice to see that turning point for A-Train there, where he realized just how awful of a person he's turned into, and then Huey's still getting to land a punch. But then where does that play in? Because now he's like, wait, you have powers. Though I suppose that's all out of the bag anyway shortly.
Yeah. And the before we get to that part, but A-Train after, well, go ahead. But I'm not going to skip ahead.
We can skip to the end of the A-Train part because that's fun.
Yeah, the A-Train part after what goes down in the house goes down in the house. A-Train's outside talking to Blue Hawk, and I guess he's just fed up with his attitude, and
Blue Hawk just keeps running his mouth.
He just doesn't shut up, and then he got run, and A-Train grabbed him and ran and drug him for miles.
Crazy. And until there was very little left to Blue Hawk.
Right. And then A-Train collapsed and you don't know what happened to him either. Maybe he dies.
I was waiting for it to just his chest to explode. Is what I was waiting. I was like, come on. So I guess we won't do that to him. So he'll be back.
So we're possibly down in A-Train. We're possibly down a Maeve, even though I don't think we are.
Black Noir's gone.
And then, and then you have the big moment where Mother's Milk faces off against Soldier Boy.
All 7 seconds of it before Butcher gets in the way.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. Butcher catching the punch and just kind of throwing him, and then the big. I mean, what was I guess one of the better. So of the two big fight scenes that we saw of these two shows, is this fight scene better than the one that we're going to talk about coming up?
Hold on. Oh, yes.
By
the
far?
The fight scene in this with Butcher and Homelander and Huey hopping in there and MM and Soldier Boy and, Homelander showing up and Termite getting squashed. But seeing Soldier Boy's still just like Cap, right?
Yeah.
It's Cap versus Superman.
Basically.
That's still not a real fight.
No, but I mean, without Butcher and Huey there, does he get him down like that? I mean, it looked like Homelander was really holding his own until the other two kind of piled on him.
That's what I don't think without Soldier Boy using that beam that he can't use on command.
Right.
I don't think he could take him. So I'm intrigued to see how they play that out. Because again, polar opposite of where the comics are with any of these characters. I'm just starting the 4th omnibus, and Soldier Boy is not this character in any way, shape, or form.
No, and I know they added this power isn't a power he has in the comics, right? Or does he?
No, just the character in general is not. This isn't a storyline from the comic. Very few storylines in the TV show are the storylines from the comic.
Gotcha.
Pretty much none of them. This is just which this is great, right? But now that I'm reading the comics, no, I mean. So as opposed to everything else, which tries to keep what you have, all of these characters are such a left turn from where the comics have gone with them and what they do with them and the whole 9 yards. Like let's take this and move this over to this person. We'll take this and move it over to this person.
Right.
And we'll gender flip and we'll race swap and we'll do all this crazy stuff. And this is a little too crazy. We can't do that. And there's a lot less soups in the TV show.
Okay.
A lot less super teams.
Probably way easier to draw than the cast.
And the legend is much more integral in the comic book than he is in the show.
He's great in the show.
So it's really neat seeing how the differences are now. But then they Soldier Boy and Huey and Butcher leave, and Starlight and MM go out and start helping everybody that's there. And Starlight, another huge, which they could have saved for any other episode,
right?
Because enough already happened this episode. Now you have Starlight goes and quits the 7
on live, like
on
so
Instagram.
They made a mention earlier in the show that she had 193 million Instagram followers, and that when she was talking to Nadia, the senator,
Newman,
Victoria, right? Yeah, whatever. I forgot her name, but they supposedly came to an understanding. Well, her name's Nadia too.
Sure.
They came to an understanding where Starlight would help her with her 193 million followers, and Victoria wouldn't pop her head off. But when Victoria left, Starlight's nose started to bleed a little bit, which was kind of like maybe a little, hey, you know what I can do here. Remember.
Yeah. And that makes her nose bleed.
Right. So now at the end, Starlight's standing there with MM holding her phone, and she's doing a live stream to her 193 million followers. And yeah, she quits the 7 and basically says, if you got a problem with it, come at me. Which was huge. I mean, yeah, like you definitely could have saved that for any other episode.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how they do these last 2, because like I said, this had all the makeup of a 7th episode.
Well,
out of 8, not a 6th.
According to Eric Kripke, the season 3 finale, which is called the Instant White Hot Wild.
Oh.
He said the season finale is very ambitious just because we pulled off like the biggest fight scene we've ever done, and that was really hard. But this hero-gasm is up there. This was so hard to film. It was so difficult. So the season 3 finale is going to top that fight scene with another even more bigger fight scene.
I'm in.
That, you know what? And Matt pointed out, I wanted to kind of go back maybe I will and look and see if we can't get highlights of what the texts were saying while she was live streaming, because there's stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
But that one guy said she's going to die FR, which, as I know from somebody, means for real. I hate that I know that.
I'm so proud of you.
I just hate
You're so young and hip.
That's no cap. I don't know if I used that right. I still don't know if I used that right. So the boys spoilers end at 57:40. That was a nice long one, right?
There's a lot to I think we said there's a lot to cover in those.
There's a lot to cover. Now, the next little bit that we have is a quick couple of little things before we get into the Obi-Wan thing. Taika Waititi's Star Wars film might not make 2023. It might be a little later than that because he's just such a busy person.
It's not a surprise. He's got a new season, another season of What We Do in the Shadows maybe to do by then. He's got Our Flag Means Death.
An original Star Wars X-Wing model.
Ooh.
From 1977 Star Wars sold for $2.3 million at an auction. I wanted to make that up.
Is that a toy?
No, it was actually one of the models that they used.
Oh, got it.
Like from the thing.
Yep.
And then Mark Hamill revealed the most valuable thing he kept from the original Star Wars film were the boots that Luke Skywalker wore in A New Hope. Of all the things he could have kept, he kept the boots. That's kind of neat, right?
Yeah, well, they were full of Tatooine sand.
Yeah.
It gets everywhere.
It gets everywhere. It's crass and it gets everywhere. Okay. So here we are at the 59-minute mark for the Obi-Wan spoilers. So obviously, if you haven't seen Obi-Wan, if you're one of the few.
Yes, it feels like 6 years ago with all the extra content that's been out.
Yeah.
Lately, doesn't it? So what'd you think? I know you've been a fan all season, so
I'll go first on this one because I know where you're going to go with it. I thought the entire series was really well done from a certain point of view. Okay, that was ad-libbed. If you're a fan, you'll get it. I will read Pete's thing in a moment. Dylan's right. The finale did justice for the prequel fans, I think. What I thought was the only problem I had with this entire finale was the Reva part in that finale. Because at no time after, so you figure 8 years away now, 7-8 years away from old white hair Ben, right?
Yeah, depending on the story. They're saying 10 maybe.
Okay, so even 10 years ago, you're going to tell me that you're not sitting there in your house and go, oh, damn, Ben, you remember that time I was chased by this chick, right? When I was a little kid? Remember this chick just showed up at my house and just
with a lightsaber?
Me? No, he never saw the lightsaber. I'll give him that. She never lit the lightsaber. She never turned the lightsaber on while he was awake. That's the only good thing they did in that moment.
She used it all through the house going after Beru and Owen.
He didn't see it, though. He didn't see it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Okay, I'll give them that. I'll bend enough to give them that.
Okay, it's very kind of you.
That whole Reva scene was pointless. The fact that both of them got to that planet so fast was amazing. Okay. But the fight scene between Vader and Obi-Wan, I thought was absolutely awesome. I really think that it's amazing how much their skills are going to deteriorate in 10 years. But at this point in time, that fight scene was great. It really was. I thought the whole thing, the fight scene itself was great. And if you have seen it, go look on YouTube for the Revenge of the Sith overlay music to that fight scene, and it makes it even better.
Revenge of the Sith or the Dueling Fates?
Revenge of the Sith, I think it is.
Okay.
Now, what did you think? And then I'll go back and read Pete's thing.
I thought it was fine. Look, as I said I said to you, and I don't remember if it was on the podcast or just in general, like at no point was I concerned about any of the characters.
No.
And at no point did the show do enough to get me invested in any of the side characters to really give a shit that they were, if something happened to them or not. Like there was no drama for me. Like, oh my God, is Reva gonna kill Owen and Beru? No. Is she gonna kill Luke? No. Whatever. And same thing with the Obi-Wan and Vader. Like the fight was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have trouble with thinking that that Vader hasn't had any kind of character development in 10 years to where he's still a hot-headed Anakin that like, oh, I buried you in the rocks. And all of a sudden I don't sense you anymore, even though you're using the Force like crazy to not get crushed. But that's cool. I bet you're dead. Even though a minute ago I sensed you, what planet you were on and where on the planet you landed, right? But now he doesn't know that he's 6 feet away and buried. It's the way they went with like the Force is super powerful. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's super great. Nah, it's really not. And then the throwing the rocks, like Darth can't block rocks. He just stopped and crushed a spaceship.
He did.
In the episode before, and now he's getting like little rocks thrown at him and he can't do anything about it. He also has a lightsaber there that should be able to cut through some rocks.
What?
And instead he's just getting his ass kicked because he's, I don't know, all of a sudden scared. I don't get it.
I try to suspend the belief and look at it as his overconfidence was so overwhelming, and they tried to set that up with the flashbacks, and he just thinks that he's always going to win. And if you recall, every single fight up to this fight, he's always either not, the one with Reva was great where he didn't use his lightsaber at all, but he's always been one-handed. This was the first time I ever saw him grip it with two hands against the now all the way powerful Obi-Wan, right?
I guess, but like Luke still should, or not Luke, Anakin should still be more powerful than Obi-Wan.
You would think.
Like he's the chosen one, if you remember what Qui-Gon said. So yeah, it was fine. Like I said, it was fine.
Right.
I get it. It was cool.
It's hard to drop something like that. It's hard to drop a TV. It's hard to drop a story in the middle of a preset time period where you know the beginning and the end. You're dropping something in the middle of that now, and you have to make something.
Yeah, but you didn't have to make any of it.
You didn't know. You didn't know. Why don't we just redo A New Hope?
Don't just wait. That won't be long. Once Lucas is gone, it's game on. I bet you.
Poor Pete. And Pete. So Pete's earlier comment was exactly what we were talking about. What we've been saying all along. You're 8 to 10 years away from A New Hope. That sun's got to really do some damage.
But then I sent you explanation.
Yes. Because they're not real characters.
Right, because they're actors in movies playing them.
I get that.
They're different actors.
And what Dylan said,
they look different.
The meeting at the end with the hello there, that was a great payoff. I really, really enjoyed that. The blending of the voices during the fight, the "you didn't kill Anakin, I did" was great because now you made Obi-Wan not a liar in 10 years.
Right.
The way he cut his forehead on the helmet really is a good flash forward or whatever to Return of the Jedi when he takes the mask off and he's got that big scar down his helmet, his head. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah, look, there was a lot of nice little things like there was. That was all great. I just the power swaps, like, I mean, we went from 3 episodes ago, the guy,
well, he got in touch with the Force again.
Was walking down the street snapping necks with his fingers.
Yeah.
And now some dude with a slingshot throwing rocks at his body armor's messing them all up. You know, like, yeah, it's what they keep doing, which is what drives me nuts, is they take away from the mystique that I've had for 40 some odd years of Darth Vader being the biggest badass in the galaxy.
So what you just
did, they make him more and more of a punk.
So what you're saying is,
every time I see him on these things,
what you just did with that fight was you made Obi-Wan the biggest badass in the galaxy because he was able to get through Vader's defenses and crack the breathing plate, crack the helmet, and then just leave him for whatever.
Yeah, no, yeah, right. Like, that's not.
Would you be happy with the Darth Vader series?
No,
I wouldn't either.
They're doing one in the comics that's supposedly fantastic. So they would totally screw it up if they brought it on TV.
I don't need a live action Darth Vader series. I like you said, I like my Darth Vader and little. I don't either because
they won't make him bad enough.
Well, no, because it's Disney, and you
they'll
that's
try
as bad
and
as you're going to get
him and show these glimmers of him being redeemed. Which
I don't
want
that. I don't want that. I get in Rebels when he fought Ahsoka and he didn't go all he didn't like go all in, but he did at one point. Like, he didn't hold back.
No, if it wasn't for Ezra, she'd be dead. Yeah.
And in this, he did hold back a little bit, but I think Obi-Wan overpowered him. And then the clever writing, why didn't he continue to hunt him after that defeat all those years, is because you have a scene with the Emperor at the end where the Emperor is like, forget about him, do what I told you to do now. Like, right. I let you run around and play, and I let you go after your former master, and he whooped your ass. Now you forget about him and go do what I said to do from now on.
Right, but like, so what has Darth done the 10 years prior? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like it was like 6 months or a year. Like, it's a decade.
It's a
long time.
He sits on his throne and mopes.
But he doesn't. He's going around establishing himself and killing Jedi. Like, that's him and the Inquisitor. Like, right? Like, that's
what it should be.
Right. That's where my problem fell in with it. Where, like, stop trying to ruin the mystique.
Could you say that perhaps this defeat is what finally snaps his hold to his past, and he does become that menacing ball of hate and just goes without thinking?
Yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I'm reaching a lot.
We'll see. I'm sure. Look, there'll be a series about it. Don't worry.
Well, there was a rumor that I read that they're bringing Natalie Portman back, which I don't understand why, to play Padme. I don't understand why or where you would need to put a series about Padme in any way, shape, or form, there's nowhere in the timeline that you can fit a series about her. Is there?
During the Clone Wars. She's around all the Clone Wars.
But do you need anything? Do I need that?
No.
I had Anakin and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars cartoon. That's perfect.
You and I got it all. I got it all during the Clone Wars series.
I don't need it.
That's where we got Ahsoka.
Yeah.
It's tough because like Ahsoka would have fit into this show great.
Yep.
But then why wouldn't Obi-Wan have called Ahsoka to help later on, right? So like,
right. And I'm glad for not showing one of the droids. I'm glad for that not happening. One of the droids popping up.
I'm annoyed.
Why?
Because they should have been with Bail.
Where did R2 go after?
They were with Leia. She sent the message to Obi-Wan from R2.
Right, but they weren't. Were they always with her, or do they not? Maybe they find their way to her in the next 2-3 years.
I think they went with Bail Organa was the.
I'll have to look that up later because we're running super over-ish.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my assumption, that those two went with Bail and with her, which is how they ended up on her ship at the end of Rogue One / A New Hope, right?
I'll have to look that up.
So yeah, and I don't. I thought that would have been great to see R2.
I guess.
There was a point there before The Mandalorian. Remember, there was not R2 was the only character that was in everything.
Right. Well, C-3PO, I think.
Yeah.
I hope they have another Keystone comic soon.
Yeah. Hopefully we get a Keystone next year. I know the pandemic was rough on Keystone, so hopefully they do bring it back. It was much better than Fan Expo / Comic-Con's been the last few years, Robert. Well, we do post in the Keystone Comic-Con group there, so we appreciate you coming and watching the show, Robert, for sure.
Yes, thank you very much.
So speaking of that,
yes.
So hey, if you want to hear some of the past episodes, you can find us anywhere, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all those good places.
YouTube.
Drop us a rating, drop us a review. We'd appreciate it. But the whole catalog is available there, and
we have a catalog.
As always, we got to thank everybody for finding the Geek Spot. Have a great 4th of July.
We will not be doing a show next week, so in 2 weeks, which will be
we'll bring you
the 11th
Boys finale, probably Miss Marvel's not quite finale yet.
Nope.
And a Thor: Love and Thunder review.
Oh, that's right. I have to get tickets still.
You too. So lots of stuff coming up. If you haven't joined the group on Facebook, join in there. We can always start keeping the conversation going there if you guys want. And again, thanks. We'll definitely hit Thor reviews, Dylan. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, big time. Also, let's wish a big congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche for winning the Stanley Cup last night, and for former Flyer Nicholas Abe-Kubel for dropping the cup during the team photo and denting the bottom of the Stanley Cup.
That's good. It's good.
He dented the bottom of the Stanley Cup. Woodhaven's my theater of choice, Dylan. It's where I like to go.
You guys may end up sitting next to each other. Oh,
no, because I will buy both seats, so I don't have to sit next to anyone. No offense.
And Robert, real quick, no, we had a blast of Fan Expo this year. It was great.
Yes.
In years past, Wizard World versus Keystone. Keystone crushed Wizard World, in my opinion, the last couple of years, though.
Yeah. But thank you, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.